Alright guys, so today I'm going to change the back tyre on my Cannondale Cad's Head and road bike. It's a Maxxis Refuse 28mm tyre. As you can see, it's about past its use by date now. I've done a lot of gravel riding and riding on limestone and stuff lately, and that's really just trashed the back tyres. The front one's not too bad, so the plan is to remove the front tyre, put the front on the back, and then put a new tyre on the back. I've got a Continental GP 5000 to replace it in a 28 as well. It's brand new, so yeah, we'll put that on. Alright guys, so first thing to do is we're going to release the brakes, undo the skewer, and then we will remove the front tyre, the whole front wheel. Can remove the air from the tyre. This is a press the valve. You just unscrew the tip of the valve anti-clockwise and then press on the tip of the valve and you let all the air out. You can push it on the ground to get like the last bit out. Now next you want to break the seal. You go around the tyre and make sure it's already broke. Oh, it's already broken on this. Sometimes it'll be still stuck to the sidewall of the rim, but not in this case. It's ready to come off. Now you just need some tyre levers. I've got some here. These are tyre levers, and this is basically how you pry the old tyre off. So basically just take one lever, put it in the tyre, in the sidewall. You want to start levering the sidewall out off the side of the rim. You put another one in, and then you should just be able to slide the two. As you slide, it'll eventually just pop off. You want to try and be careful not to push it in too much and jam it up against the tube that you've got in there. You don't want to damage the tube or put a hole in the tube. Now it's half off. Now it should just be as simple as going to the opposite end of the valve and pulling the whole tyre off with the tube still inside it. And there you have it. Tyre's off. The tube's still in the tyre. When you get to this point, it's good to check the rim tape as well. It basically just covers the holes that are drilled into the rim for the spokes, and you want to make sure that none of the spokes holes are uncovered and make sure that there's no dirt or debris or anything in there. And if there is, you can get some electrical tape if there's any like holes uncovered, and you can just run electrical tape over it. You can run it around like 3 times or something instead of rim tape. I actually found this rim on the side of the road back in Perth, but I've been running it ever since and it's had no trouble. Still true. Alright guys, the next step's to get the new tyre onto the rim. So basically you just want to sort of feel your way around one side of the sidewall and put it into the rim. You kind of see me doing it here now. Mostly in, it's just a bit tight on one side. It's popped around. It usually pops in pretty easily on one side. You can just see me popping it in there. That's in now. I normally like to put the details about the tyre, max pressure and stuff like that near the valve hole. That's what I've done here. Max inflation, 116 psi, 700 by 28C, and some other details on the tyre. Because that's where you're going to like pump the tyre and you need to know that information, so it's just handy to have it there. Now that that's on, the next step is to put the tube into the tyre. So we get the one out of the other tyre, the old tyre, because this doesn't have a hole in it. I'm just replacing the tyre, not the tubes. You want to find the valve hole and fit the valve hole through. Slot the valve, through the valve hole. Then you just want to like feed it into the tyre. Because this tube's got a bit of air in it, it sits into the tyre pretty nicely. When they're new tubes, they're a bit harder to get them to sit in. Sometimes it helps just to put a little bit of air in them to give them some shape. Once you've got the tube sitting fairly nicely and you've got the valve straight, you want to start putting the tyre on. Using the palms of your hands, you can kind of knead it, roll it back on. You can see me doing it here. You want to try not to get it jammed up between the tube and the sidewall. Sometimes it's hard to avoid, but you can kind of, as you go, sort of push the tube in and make sure it's not going to get pinched there. You can see me doing it with my fingers as I go now. Obviously the hardest part to get on is going to be the last part, because the tyre is pretty tight at this point, and it's a very similar size to the rim. You can usually get it by hand if you just roll it slowly, and yeah, I got that one, no problem. Now I'm going to put a little bit of air in it, just a bit. Then I'm going to go right around. I'm going to check the sidewall and make sure that the tube's not pinched between the sidewall of the tyre and the sidewall of the rim. Got the pump, so I'm just going to put a little bit of air in now. You don't want to put too much in, just a little bit, to give it some shape. It's a little bit too much, so I'm just going to let a bit out. Now I'm just going to go around and check the sidewall. Yeah, start at the valve so you can know where you're up to, and I'm checking to see if there's any part of the tube stuck pinched between the tyre and the sidewall of the rim. You'll be able to see just like the black part of the tube in there. Looks pretty good so far. It's worth doing this because otherwise you'll end up with a pinch flat. It's really annoying. You know, you change your tyre, you start riding for, you know, a few kilometres, and then you end up with a flat again. You're like, what's going on? I've done it before. You can check both sides as you go, but I'm just checking each side individually, trying to show you guys. It's a bit hard to see, it's a bit dark, but it all looks pretty good so far. It's a bit harder when the new tubes are a bit flat and they don't sit in very well. So that looks all good, so I'm just going to pump that up. I usually run about 100 psi. Before you pump, it's worth checking that everything's sitting right. It all looks pretty good to me. That's 100 psi now. And now I'm going to go and put the old front tyre on the back, and that's the job done. So thanks for watching, guys. But yeah, that's how you change a tyre. Any questions, just leave them in the comments. And yeah, I mean, it's good to rotate your tyres. You know, if you've got your if you've worn out your rear tyre and you're getting a new tyre, it's good to put the old front tyre onto the rear and then put the new one on the front. The front's more important than the rear. The rear tyre wears out way faster than the front tyre as well. So it's good to do that just to get some good rotation. Alright guys, thanks for watching.